CBDCs, that is central bank digital currency.
Central bank digital currency.
Central bank digital currency.
Central bank digital currencies.
Is the Fed working on a digital dollar?
President Biden issued an executive order to explore the creation of a U.S. central bank digital currency.
The idea of digital money is not new. Many of us use debit and credit cards or payment apps for transactions. But what would make a central bank digital currency different?
Is a way for an individual to begin banking with the Federal Reserve.
So what they're saying is that this is going to make money more accessible and easier to access by regular people, because now you're not going to have to go to a bank to access your money.
Things like a digital currency that is centralized, that's controlled by the government.
Right.
That scares the shit out of me.
Absolutely.
Kelly, this is moving very slowly, but it is potentially the biggest change to money since, I don't know, currency consolidation after the Civil War. So we're watching it very carefully.
That's right. In this episode, we are talking about central bank digital currencies. And this one's kind of a doozy because it's got two sides to it. On one hand, it's the tyrannical arm of the US government tightening its grasp over the flow of money in the world. But at the same time, these are the kind of, if you can't beat them, join them sort of gestures from any government that help legitimize forms of private cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Whether you like CBDCs or not, they are coming, and sooner than you might think.
When you ask central banks around the world whether they are exploring CBDC, 1 year ago the answer was 80% of them were exploring, and now it's nearly 90%.
Most major countries are now looking at the possibility of having a digital currency and really asking the question, in our very modern advanced economy with a fast, efficient, full-blown payment system, would adding a digital currency, a form of digital currency, would it actually benefit the public that we serve?
As we move towards a more cashless society, will central bank digital currencies ever become as trusted and as convenient as banknotes? Quite possibly, though it may take months, maybe even years.
And the tsunami of news on the subject is no different, as England is working on one right now, Ripple's developing one in Montenegro, Stellar Lumens is helping Australia set one up, Switzerland's got one in the works, United Arab Emirates is cooking something up, and even India is targeting 1 million CBDC users in the next 3 months. The narrative that I'm extrapolating from all this news is that it's coming, and it's coming in hot sooner than we think, and America might actually be the last one to implement a CBDC. Overall, I think this is a net positive thing, not only for the American people, but for cryptocurrencies and Web3 projects. Why is that? Well, I think that just because the US government doesn't approve of something doesn't mean they're not helping it. You know what I'm saying? For example, whenever I originally bought cryptocurrencies, I did it with the US dollar. I didn't trade my money in for yen or the euro. I straight up used my cash from my bank account and bought cryptocurrency. And even though America didn't sanction it or support it, they have an infrastructure in place that allowed me to do so. They set up internet lines, they gave me electricity, they have a banking system and even a dollar set up in place so I could earn money in their currency and then use it to invest however I like. CBDCs will be no different. It will just help streamline things for other users, and it will legitimize forms of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. The US government is saying indirectly, yes, this technology is better than what we're using now, and we are quite literally copy and pasting it and doing our own thing because they don't want to have the US central bank digital currency tainted by the negative aspects of Bitcoin's history. Most people who don't buy into Bitcoin think it's all Ponzi schemes and criminals and people on the Silk Road buying drugs and or slaves illegally on the black market. And you know what? That's being done with every currency. I'm sick and tired of people being like, oh, Bitcoin's only being used for drugs and slaves. I'm like, yeah, it is, just like euro and just like the United States dollar. You know, Bitcoin is actually one of the least commonly used currencies when you're trying to buy a slave or drugs. It's actually more likely the US dollar in cash in duffel bags that are helping that out. And so Bitcoin is actually a trackable thing on a ledger. We know where the money is and we can follow wallets. And now that we're doxing people, we know who has what, when, where, and why. Whereas with the cash, you know, That's something that I can just put in a bag, get in a boat, travel up to Canada or Mexico and do whatever I want with, basically without any kind of infringement whatsoever. And so it's just kind of crazy to think that Bitcoin is the problem, whereas it's actually cash. But at the same time, it's nice to have cash where I say I go out with my friends for some drinks or dinner, some guy picks up the tab on his card, and I can just slide him $50 and be like, yeah, hey, here's my chip in for that bill. Whereas with a central bank digital currency, they're always going to be like, hey, why'd you give him money? What's going on there? Why'd you slide your friend $200 the other day? Was that an exchange of goods that we should be able to tax? I'm like, no, I went out and got some drinks with my bud, like get out of my wallet, Venmo and PayPal. Now they're going to like send out forms where anything I spend over $600, I have to start declaring in the IRS. I literally use PayPal and Venmo when I'm reimbursing my friends for drinks. Stop asking if I'm running a side business on the side. That's really annoying. But that's just the federal government tightening its tyrannical grasp over the flow of money in the world, which is one scary aspect of this. But for me, I have a broad portfolio. It's not going to be just in CBDCs. I'm going to have Ethereum, Bitcoin, Polygon, Solana, with a list of others, HBAR and Quant, for those of you keeping track, not financial advice. But I'm not going to have just one currency that has a tight grasp over my life. And so long story short, I think that this is a good thing. We should welcome this kind of regulation with open arms because it will legitimize other forms of cryptocurrencies and blockchain-based products. And with that, we gotta dive into some cryptocurrency news. And this story here is a dingleberry souffle all day with Alizé. I gotta say, it's absolutely crazy because Bitcoin's white paper is apparently hiding in Apple's modern macOS. It's been in there since 2018, but they just found it a couple weeks ago. I looked into it on my own Mac, and it's there. And it's not just some kind of like PDF hastily thrown into the folder structure before they shipped it. It's actually inside of an application. You have to uncompress an application, show the contents within that application, and inside of the file architecture is the Bitcoin white paper. And what's wild about this is Apple is not the kind of company that lets rogue engineers hastily throw stuff into their software. This is one of the most anal and scrutiny, like detail-oriented companies that I know of. And that means this was approved, that a whole department cleared this for takeoff. I mean, it kind of makes sense. The application itself is a printer scanner utility, which is like, so if you ever wanted to like plug in a printer or scanner into your computer, you'd have to use this piece of software. And this PDF is like an example scan, like an example of something you could potentially scan is the Bitcoin white paper. And so that means that there is a whole department of people at Apple who are enough Bitcoin maxis that they would approve something like this and let it fly, and it's continued to be in the software ever since. So this is huge news for cryptocurrencies in general. That means big companies are talking about it at the very least. I know Apple has been very like, will they, won't they about the whole thing, but this kind of tells me like, oh, they've got a whole armada of people inside of Apple's culture who are pushing for it on a daily basis and are even continually approving it and adding it to the most recent versions of the software as they push new updates. I want to see if this next one will include it as well, or maybe this will be a flagpole to Tim Cook that gets it removed. I don't know. I hope not. I hope we continue to have this sword in the ground over at Apple that pushes Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies forward. Cryptocurrency saw 20% more VC deals in the first quarter. Bullish news, look at the markets right now, things are green. We're continually setting new higher highs and higher lows as we go throughout the year. This isn't really that crazy because 20% more VC deals quarter over quarter isn't really that crazy because 2022 is like one of the worst years for cryptocurrency, like from a percentage standpoint. And so for it to be 20% higher than that last year, it's not really saying much, but it is good sentiment nevertheless. Like it's good more VC deals are coming in. This might be a sign that the tides are actually changing. Sentiment is really what drives cryptocurrency adoption. When more and more people are approving it and more people are saying positive things about it around the water cooler or on news channels, that drives further adoption, and that's what will inevitably push Bitcoin into new all-time highs is when we have more users getting into the space. MicroStrategy's Bitcoin bet turns green as Bitcoin price climbs to 10-month high. MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor were two of the leaders. They were like Napoleon or anyone in a major war. I don't know. I'm trying to think of another one. I'm talking the French girl who did the stuff. What's her name? Oh man, I'm talking about the French girl. She got her head cut off, but she's leading the French Revolution. It's going to come to me later. I'm going to hate it. But anyways, these are people at the tip of the spear who are like doing it in a big way, buying Bitcoin by the billions. And man, I'm still thinking about the name. Who is it? God, that's killing me. Man, anyways, thank God that they're finally in the green over at MicroStrategy, because I was worried for a little while they were going to have to go completely bankrupt. And but no, they're in the green finally, and they're even buying more Bitcoin, like telling us like the charge continues, the fight and the push forward. It's a good fight. Things are going well. I still can't remember her name. Something Joan of Arc. That's it. Joan of Arc. God, I got it. Okay, it's Joan of Arc. Okay, Joan of Arc's the one I was thinking of. Crypto lawyer predicts Ripple will win SEC case on decentralization. This is another great push forward for cryptocurrencies, one that a lot of us thought they were going to lose, but no, they are actually taking SEC to court and they're going to win. And whenever they do win, which seems another like maybe inevitability at this point, unless they can do unlimited appeals on it, I don't know. But when they win, this will legitimize all other forms of cryptocurrency. This will push the market forward again, change the sentiment, and that's just great news overall. I'm so stoked I got the Joan of Arc. Crypto lawyer predicts this, and I do too. And actually, whenever you look anywhere in the news, you see Ripple here, Ripple there. Even in the previous story I sold, like Ripple setting up a CBDC in Montenegro right now. There are so many Ripple maxis that are just waiting for this case to be won, and that will just be a tsunami of money flowing in. Right now it's sitting around 50 cents. It could be as high as $3, if they win this case. And so I'm feeling good about it. Let's go Ripple, win this one. It'll be good news for the rest of the cryptocurrency space. But it's not all good news, okay? There are some bad things happening right now, like with this story. Wales abruptly moved $655 million in Bitcoin amid a massive crypto market surge. I want to put this in perspective for you. When Bitcoin recently passed $30,000, it was with a big flow of money. A massive flow of money came into Bitcoin that finally pushed it above 30,000. Do you know how much money that was? What was that? Oh, I can't hear you. It was $180 million. That's all it was. It was $180 million. I think that is a lot of money. But from something that's worth $1 trillion, it's not a lot of money. And so whenever you see Wales moving $655 million with the intent to dump, that's the only time they really start moving that stuff is when they want to dump it, because these are local highs. This is a great time to sell, especially if you bought around 18,000. Like, this is a great time to sell. And so this is pending right now. We might see a dump. Maybe as soon as this video posts, it might happen, unfortunately. And definitely by the end of April, it's going to happen. We're going to see a huge dump. We're going to test new lows. And that might actually be one of the best buying opportunities of the year after it dumps here in April. Maybe it continues dumping through May and June. Not financial advice. Not financial advice. I'm a guy in a Hawaiian shirt over here. My name's fununcle. If you take financial advice from me, you a crazy person. But anyways, I think it might dip around May or July. And then China's going to go to war with Taiwan, and that'll cause another dip, and that'll be a great buying opportunity too. But it's not all good news. That's really what I'm trying to say here. There is bad stuff on the horizon. Another one is Tether printed $1 billion of USDT just on the Tron network. Have you even heard of Tron? Okay, most of my audience probably has, but most Americans haven't really even heard of Polygon. You know what I'm saying? They maybe know about Ethereum, but Tron is a network that's hidden underneath networks. It's such a sleeper network, and even they're getting $1 billion of Tether printed just on its network alone. That shows me that they are also prepping for some sell-offs, people wanting to move their cryptocurrencies into a stablecoin like USDT. However, USDT is another Ponzi scheme stack of cards. I don't know what to call it, because they're also printing money like the Federal Reserve is, and so in that logic, the Federal Reserve is also a Ponzi scheme. So I can't say that. But USDT printing money like this with no real backing behind it is a house of cards that could crumble the space and cause further dips. And so it's very concerning when I see them printing money like this. Nevertheless, things are good. Maybe the darkest days of the crypto winter are behind us. I'm not going to say it's over, but we have further storms to weather. And I am so stoked I got the Joan of Arc reference. Oh, I'm so stoked on that. Let's go. And now it's time for my favorite part of the show. It's the Web3 Lounge, where I am just kicking it, giving y'all some updates on Fununcle's neck of the woods. And things are pretty crazy. Pretty wild. When it rains, it pours. It is a constant tsunami of stuff. And I sometimes have to spend whole sections of my day just feverishly planning the other days to make sure I can get things done on time. It's like, do I actually have enough time to do all this stuff? And I'm dodging bullets over here. Like, you know those kung fu movies where like the samurai sword comes in someone's face and it just like it scrapes right past my face. I'm like, ooh, that's me, like every other week. And and so I'm kind of bummed out that I can't do more of this stuff. Thank you to everybody who reached out. I hope I'm not giving you the like Irish goodbye, French exit feeling here, because I haven't been around much. I've been, just here in Seattle, but just fighting through this tsunami of stuff that's going on. I just picked up this new project with Magic the Gathering. I'm going to be doing their Pro Tour and World Championship esports series throughout the world. We have even a project in Barcelona coming up. And so that's been a lot of meetings. And, I wish I could do more GM Web3s and NFT lives, but like 8 a.m. to noon my time is like crunch time. That's when my most important meetings are happening. That's when I'm like commuting to work. That's when my best thinking is done, is like 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And so, I want to have it all. I want to be doing more of these. I apologize to everyone who thought I ghosted them. I'm still here. I'm still excited about the space, and I hope I can be doing more of these on a more frequent basis. It was really nice getting to do an NFT live 2 weeks ago, jumping back into Speakeasy with Kay Mayfield and Easy. Like, it's cool. I really love this community, and I wish I could do more. I was actually thinking about Taylor Swift the other day, and how Taylor Swift is able to do these 3.5 hour long shows every other night, while also having a social life and interacting with her family and having hobbies and like interacting with her pets and going on vacations and stuff like that. She even did like a private performance for her friend's engagement in between her massive shows. And so that gave me motivation. I was like, hey, Taylor Swift and I are the same age. I know I look hotter and younger than her, but we're the same age, And if she can do it, I could do it. And so I'm like busting my a-hole to like just grind and have it all, have a social life, be able to do my work, do Fununcle as well, because I truly do love hanging out with my Web3 fam. You guys lift me up. I'm so grateful that for you who reached out with me, who thought I was having like a depressive episode or something. Like, thank you for having that kind of compassion for me. It really means a lot. I wish one day I can extend that same courtesy back your way. Really, really grateful to be a part of Web3, and I want to do more of this stuff. And so with that, hit me up anytime in the Discord, on Twitter, on Instagram. It's Fununcle on all of those. I respond to messages, and I love hearing from you guys. And the one last thing I would like to ask the community is, when do you consume media? That's just been a thought on my mind whenever I'm doing these episodes and trying to push content forward, like build a better mousetrap, is like, when are people actually engaging on social media? And for me personally, because I've got, work and a social life and commuting as well, I find that like I'm actually consuming social media between like 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. on most days. Like, that's when I'm really engaged in the space. And so I'm thinking about that too with like this content. When would be the best time to do a live show? Like if I wanted to go live and interact with people in real time, or start posting these videos at a more advantageous time in the day, setting up future shows with other content creators, interviews and stuff like that. Like, when should I start doing those things? And that's just been a thought on my mind, that maybe it's 7 p.m., right? 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Seattle time. I don't know. it's something I keep thinking about, and I'm trying to make it better. And really, at the end of the day, it's just catering to the audience we have. Like the type of people who like cryptocurrencies and Web3 products also probably have a pretty busy lifestyle because they're managing companies or have an entrepreneurial spirit. That's the kind of people who get attracted to cryptocurrencies. And so ongoing thoughts like this, like most people who are in cryptocurrency are probably the same as me, or dealing with the same kind of, hurdles every single day. Whether if it's not work, it's probably they have kids, a family at home, and the kids don't go to bed until 8 p.m. and then they can start engaging into the underworld that is Bitcoin and Web3. But that's just how I want to close out the episode. I had really fun doing this. I like how I switched things up a little bit with the intro, make it more kind of like Vox Media journalistic reporting on CBDCs. And maybe, just maybe, I'll be churning out some more just like that in the future. Tell me what you think. Like it. Tell me in the comments if you hated it, and I'll stop doing them. But that's my episode of Fun Uncle for this week. Do you like crypto, NFTs, and video games? Well, the Fun Uncle YouTube page is your one-stop shop for all of my content across all networks and platforms. You want to make sure to hit the link down in the description below and join me today. You do not want to miss out on any of this content because I work diligently to demystify the complexities of blockchain technology.